I may not show my face, but I am happy to rank on camera. Some people may call this mindless content, my therapist calls it trying my best. Today we're ranking Series 1 of Doctor Who, from worst to best, exploring all the episodes that made this iconic return to screen such a powerhouse of a season. There may be some controversial placements in here, so buckle up as we dive into Doctor Who 2005 edition, starting with number 13, The Long Game. Simon Pegg looks cold and the ceiling looks hungry. There's not a dreadful episode in Series 1. Doctor Who's return to screen was a major success, and a lot of that is down to just how great the majority of the stories were. The Long Game's biggest crime is that it's kind of dull in places, and I find a lot of the themes it's trying to explore more interesting than the overall execution. The controlling of media is a wonderful concept for a satire, but I don't think The Long Game quite attacks it with as much bite as I personally would like. I also find the side characters lacking. I don't connect to any of them, and other than Adam, I always forget about them as soon as the credits roll. There's still some great things. The design of the episode is wonderful. I love how rustic everything feels. The Doctor and Rose's relationship continues to shine, and of course it sets up the finale brilliantly. But as a standalone adventure, it's one I never find myself excited to rewatch. It's also the weakest villain of the series. Kebab meat on the ceiling is quite fun and the design is interesting, but after it growls, the Jaggerfest does little else. Simon Pegg's the editor, which sounds like a one-man theatre show when said like that, is a little more interesting, mainly due to his performance, but again, he's not a villain who stands out amongst Doctor Who's rogue gallery. All that being said, if the show could go back to its weakest outings being like The Long Game, I would be a very happy man. Number 12, Boomtown. Boomtown is a guilty pleasure of an episode. It's no one's favourite, and if you say it is, stop lying to yourself, but I do think a lot of episodes could learn from it. It's definitely the sitcom episode, the funny romp, which we've seen a lot throughout the show since, with episodes such as Love and Monsters and The Lodger. However, the reason Boomtown stands out amongst the other comedy outings is because it's not weighted down by its silliness. Yes, there's some great gags and some very old school slapstick, but there's also a darker edge to it. The conversations around morals and morality, what makes a monster, what makes a person have the right to decide someone else's fate, it's all very grown up, and the episode does a good job at allowing these moments to shine. Boomtown knows when to pull away from the silliness and instead give us some good character drama, which is something this era as a whole usually excels in. The resolution of Margaret turning into an egg, this show is insane sometimes, does slightly undermine the moral dilemma at the heart of the episode. It offers the Doctor an easy way out, although it does set up the whole heart of the TARDIS thing that will come back in the series finale. The main thing I enjoy about this episode is the sudden change of pace. Sandwiched between Moffat's mummy issues and the Dalek game show, Boomtown allows for a slightly unique story, where instead of a mad dash adventure, we get to witness a villain really get under the Doctor's skin. Talking of skin, number 11. The End of the World. Making the villain of your second episode a bitchy slab of skin is ballsy. At the same time, throwing in some robot spiders, blowing up the earth, burning a tree woman and revealing Gallifrey is gone is insane, and yet, it works. The End of the World is a very nice, viewer-friendly second episode. It's guiding the audience's hand, revealing little bits of the show's style, humour and scope. The job this episode has is to build on from the opener and really cement itself as a time-travelling alien show that was promised in Rose. It's why I think it was a great idea to throw in so many alien designs into this episode. Immediately it gives the show a unique feel and makes the world feel so much bigger and weirder. Yes, some of these aliens are just people painted blue, but if James Cameron can get away with it, so can we. Cassandra is camp but iconic, and I think it's lovely that Joan Rivers' memory lives on within the world of Doctor Who. This episode is also brilliantly paced. The constant action sequences keep the episode engaging, while still offering enough of those smaller, intimate character moments that allow us to further understand and connect to our two lead characters. The phone call home, the ending in the street, all these moments don't just serve the story of the week, but the dynamic of the duo as a whole, that is without a doubt the beating heart of the series. Number 10. Rose. Let's be honest, the Slovene are higher up than you thought they would be, aren't they? The first episode of this series gets so much right that it almost feels cruel putting it this low down on the list. For starters, it captures the weirdness and the wonder of the show immediately, wasting no time showing us our first monster of the revival. The Autons. When I bang on about monsters being important, this is what I mean. 5 minutes in and we get a lovely creepy scene down in the basement, and I, as a little kid, was hooked immediately. All the character introductions are beautifully handled, with both the Doctor and Rose immediately becoming a captivating double act. For all the behind the scenes problems and overall nervousness of bringing the show back, this is Doctor Who at its most confident. I love how seamlessly Rose's everyday life is shown to us, with both Mickey and Jackie working as the perfect side characters, not overshadowing the story, but leaving us wanting to know more about them in the future. There's some wonderful moments. The whole sequence where the Doctor explains how he can feel the turn of the Earth is still one of my favourite scenes of the show, even all these years later. And that TARDIS reveal is so beautiful in its simplicity. I adore the Ultrons crashing through the shopping centre, a wonderful nod to their first appearance in Spearhead from Space. So with all these compliments, why is it so low? Because in a way, it should be. There'd be something wrong if the best episode of a show that can be and do anything was the very first introduction back. The episode needs to set up the adventure, and it does that brilliantly, but all the excitement and the terror and the wonder, that's all still to come. I love showing people this episode, I love watching them slowly get hooked, but I personally don't go rushing back to it like I do with other stories in the series. Number 9. Aliens of London. Bore off with your criticisms and listen up for a minute. Yes, I know the Slovene fart and it's a bit juvenile, but they also skin their victims, wear that skin, take over Parliament and start a war. That's a cool villain. And the design is amazing. Big bug-eyed green guys with nails from an Essex salon. I love it. This episode is bold. We get the wonderful spectacle of the spaceship crashing into Big Ben and landing in the Thames, using that British iconography, something that the show is lacking these days. The plot is a big swing, a full-on political satire, showing politicians as big, ugly monsters, and it's weird. The whole pig pilot sequence is a wonderfully odd and macabre moment that still looks great today. Aliens of London is so important, not just for Series 1, but for the first RTD era as a whole. It cements the style, this focus on Earth and family that will continue all the way through his first tenure as showrunner. I love all the consequences of travelling with the Doctor, with Rose being missing for a whole year. I love the look and the vibe of this story. It's so over the top and yet still grounded in reality, and I think people are far too harsh on it. The farting's bad, but it doesn't stink. Number 8. World War III. Part 2 is even better. We get more Slovene action. I just adore these guys. Look at them. Look at that thing. I love him. I love him. I love him. The political commentary gets even sharper and the character work is wonderful. Locking the Doctor, Rose and everyone's favourite MP, Harriet Jones, in one room was a wonderful decision, and the scene where Jackie asks if Rose will be safe is the type of character moment I adore from this era. Mickey gets to prove himself and Jackie softened throughout the runtime. This is what side characters should be. They should grow and change over the course of a show, just like the leads. It's why so many of the side characters in recent years of Doctor Who have felt so shallow, because they're just people that sometimes talk. They don't actually interact with the story they're in. This two-parter is fun, and I think it's about time the Slovene family return to our screens. Number 7. The Unquiet Dead. Everything from this point onwards is just bloody good Doctor Who, and this episode deserves so much more love than it usually gets. This episode terrified me as a tiny child, and I'm so happy I got to experience growing up with scary Doctor Who. Gatiss crafts a wonderful story for the revival's first trip to the past. Charles Dickens was the perfect choice for the first historic figure to visit, and the way the episode manages to combine Christmas, ghosts and all-round gothic atmosphere of the time is why I still think this is Gatiss's best episode of the show. The Gelth are an incredible monster, the guest cast are perfect, and the relationship between Rose and the Doctor continues to grow in a natural and engaging way. I like this one. I wish I had more to say about it, because the next placement is kinda controversial. Number 6. The Doctor Dances. Calm down, the hate comments, they aren't necessary. Moffat still got paid and you can still put it closer to the top of your rankings. This episode is great, don't get me wrong, it's a wonderful conclusion to a brilliantly creepy story. I love the horror tones, Captain Jack continues to be a fun addition to the team, and the Everybody Lives moment is an iconic scene. I really enjoy this one. Series 1 is just that good that even an episode of this quality only gets 6th place. I just don't find myself as gripped by this episode as others, and I think part 1 offers up better scares. I remember part 1 so vividly, while parts of the Doctor Dances fade away for me, and that's okay, we're all different. Talking of part 1, number 5, Bad Wolf. A different part 1, but a part 1 all the same. Some of you will think I'm insane for putting this above the Doctor Dances, but I just adore this episode. It's ridiculously camp with some batshit ideas, and yet it all works for the very simple reason: it commits to all its concepts and doesn't become self-indulgent with its humour. Its tongue-in-cheek campness is matched with some proper darkness, with strikingly sinister imagery thrown in. The controller freaked the shit out of me as a kid, and I still adore this design. The exploration of reality TV and how it desensitizes its audience to find entertainment in exploitation and life-ruining shows is wonderfully handled. Yes, some of it's dated now, but its messaging and its themes still ring true today. And it's paced brilliantly, the darkness and the dread slowly escalating over its runtime. And then bam, shitload of Daleks. It's a wonderful part 1 to a story and a wonderful build-up to the series finale. Number 4. The Empty Child. Moffat's first episode is an absolute nightmare-inducing classic. Wonderfully atmospheric with a great cast of characters, The Empty Child is everything a part 1 of a story should be. And this is why I bang on about monsters so much on this channel. The gas mask zombies are so simple, and yet even all these years later, viewers who haven't watched the show in years will remember them and their horrible little catchphrase. "Are you my mummy" was a playground chant, and the world was a better place for it. The introduction of Captain Jack is perfectly handled, Christopher Eccleston continues to shine as the Ninth Doctor, and Moffat writes an entire episode without a search history joke. All the stars aligned for this one. I adore it. Number 3. Parting of the Ways. Anne Robinson is shit at fighting, chip shops make for great dramatic exits, and if you kiss a girl, you'll die. All the messages that fuel Parting of the Ways. I adore this regeneration story. It's a wonderful ending to the Ninth Doctor's arc and brings the story of Series 1 to a close in style. The Daleks are menacing, the family drama is pitched perfectly, and the death count is high, something every Dalek episode should have. However, what really makes this episode soar are the performances from its main cast. Eccleston is on fire in this one, juggling so many emotions from anger to fear to hope, while still grounding it all in this raw believability. Meanwhile, Billie Piper captures that naivety and determination of Rose perfectly. The whole Tyler family plot is beautifully wrapped up, and that scene where Rose tells Jackie she met her dad is just a great bit of storytelling. With every regeneration trying to be this big event, Parting of the Ways proves that sometimes subtlety is the best way forward. It's heartbreaking and heartwarming in equal measures, and it is still one of the best finales the show has ever had. Number 2. Father's Day. A simple time travel story with a whole lot of heart. Father's Day is Doctor Who at its most grown up, telling a heartbreaking tale of family, death and grief. I adore everything about this episode, from the Reapers to the 80s setting. I just think it's a magical story that doesn't shy away from its hard-hitting moments. My mum lost her dad at a very young age, and I remember this episode moving her in a way I only now understand since losing my dad young. It captures that hurt and pain so simply while still telling a great Doctor Who story. The moment Pete realises he's meant to be dead is beautifully devastating for a family show. Yes, if you want, we can be nitpicky and we can delve into why it makes no sense the Reapers don't pop up every time changes in the show, but sometimes a fan's obsession over every little detail can get in the way of a good story. The Reapers are cool and this episode is stunning, and I personally wouldn't change a thing. Number 1. Dalek. Continuing the tradition of spoiling the Dalek's return within the episode title, Dalek is the perfect reintroduction to these iconic foes. A proper base under siege, the Daleks have never felt as threatening as they do here. Limiting the threat to just one unstoppable killing machine was a genius decision, and suddenly overnight the words exterminate were once again being shouted by every kid in school. Fast paced with a death count higher than a student at Freshers, Dalek grabs the audience and refuses to let go until the credits roll. The supporting characters are great, the Ninth Doctor's fury is magnificent, and that sudden heartfelt ending is completely earned. 2005 saw a return of Dalek mania, and this episode is a massive part of that. The way the lore of the Time War is built is so engaging, and it allows us to see a side of the Doctor we haven't seen yet in this series. Each Dalek set piece, from the corridor massacre to the electrocution scene, is shot brilliantly, made even better by a wonderful score. I long for a Dalek episode like this again that puts them front and centre and shows them as the universe's deadliest creatures. It may feel cliche putting it in the number 1 spot, but sometimes that just can't be helped. Dalek really is the blueprint of how to get both fans and new viewers obsessed with this ridiculous little show. For more Series 1 content, make sure to check out my Series 1 analysis, comment all your disagreements below, and I will see you in whatever hell the next video turns out to be.